I don't get that connection. I know you like it. I know Cam likes it.
Well, I mean, okay, let's put out the similarities, Mark. Okay,
Okay.
you ready?
Okay.
Big city private
Yep.
schools,
Yep.
historic programs,
In different ways.
champion
Sure.
exactly right. Championship pedigree, NFL Hall of Famers, college football Hall of Famers, but more specifically about them being from big cities. It's not a college town. You talk about being in LA and being in Miami. Those cities are also very similar, very urban in their approach, and great recruiting grounds, great fertile grounds. Now, different things. Cali has the quarterbacks, and South Florida has mostly skill positions that bring to the table. So those two helmets are kind of synonymous in those ways, in a lot of ways. But more specifically, off-campus stadiums, fan bases that can be deemed a little fair weather when they're not the best. Okay, great history, but recently not too well. Having to have a resurgence with new coaches from a great recent history, now going to these prominent programs and trying to bring them back up. So I definitely think that they're similar programs, and like I say, cousins, I say brothers. They didn't come from the same woman or father, but they're definitely similar. And I would also think that the hatred of the programs when they are on top can be viewed very similarly. Pete Carroll's viewpoint when he was at USC and how the South hated him was very understood, and we all understand how Miami is treated when it's on top, and people can't stand it. So those are a couple for you.
Okay. That's a good rundown. I can see all that. I guess I just look at it different. Like I take everything you say. It's all valid. It's absolutely valid. I don't, and I must be in the minority because I do see all these Miami fans that want to play USC and want both programs to get good and to face off.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just don't see it. I don't see any difference between USC being great versus Notre Dame being great versus Ohio State or Michigan being great or Alabama being great and facing those kind of programs in the
And I
playoff.
think that's a great beauty of media. A lot of people look at media from a negative light. I look at it from a lot of different perspectives. Doesn't make mine wrong or yours right.
Oh,
Doesn't make yours
absolutely
wrong or
not.
mine right. But we're able to kind of put that out there and share different viewpoints. And I'm happy that a lot of the ability for media is spread all over. I mean, anyone can make a YouTube channel and hop in front and talk. And it wasn't always that way. It was only certain narratives being put out there about certain programs and about certain people and about certain teams. And now you're able to get a plethora of viewpoints. And that's the beauty, man. It's the beauty.
Yeah, as Johnny says right there, it's a Canes thing, Mark. You wouldn't understand. So just like if
I love it.
it was a Notre Dame thing, you guys wouldn't understand. Everybody's got
Facts.
their
That's
own
100% true.
everybody's got their own culture and their own viewpoint on all that. And I know the older I get and the more I talk to college football fans, and I appreciate that we can all connect, and I appreciate that people care to listen to me, because I'm sometimes amazed because sometimes my opinion seems to be not necessarily my opinion. It's not my opinion on things or my rankings or ratings or my take on things that people have that don't appreciate, because I certainly thank you all for generally responding with great feedback on the things that I give evaluation to. But it's more where I stand as a fan, and what excites me or doesn't excite me seems to be very much off the the radar, and not necessarily what hypes up most people or so forth.
And it can be. I just think that one of the other things that gets under my skin is people having clickbait or people um, taking jabs. The Miami Hurricanes fan base is a very active fan base on social media. So people love to make comments or jabs or um, innuendos towards Miami because they know it's going to get traction. They know it's going to get retweets and quote tweets and people calling you an idiot or all that kind of stuff. So it gets kind of annoying. But you know, like I said, it's a family. We call it the U family for a reason. We know us. You know, we know our cousins and brothers and sisters in the orange and green armor. And some of us are a little easily agitated, and some of us are able to be cordial and keep it moving. So, not accusing you of doing anything like that all the time, but definitely it's well known that if you want to get under a fan base's skin, find Miami, find something to put out about Miami, you'll get some traction.
And that's why I find it funny. Sometimes I get criticized for either being too nice and people saying, well, you're trying not to piss anybody off and you're being too nice and you're not. And then I have other people that tell me that I'm poking the bear, that I'm putting stuff out there just to get people riled up. And neither extreme is the case. I call it like it is from my perspective. That doesn't mean that's what it is. That doesn't mean I have the truth and nobody else does. That means it's my perspective. Now, facts are facts, but perspective is perspective. And I call it like it is from my perspective, whether that's complimentary for, you know, take this program in particular. Have I been complimentary? Absolutely. Mostly to its history and mostly to its recent moves. Have I been critical? Absolutely. When it comes to the last 15 years of football production, yes, I've been critical. I might be the only guy on YouTube. When you talk about the YouTube, the Miami YouTube family, I might be the only one who cranks out as much, and thanks, this is thanks to you, Cam, and others, but who cranks out as much Miami content as is produced here from a neutral standpoint. Like, I'm cranking out Miami content, but it's coming from a neutral host at least.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's
for the most
probably
part,
unique to YouTube.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, for the most part, I mean, excluding your comments last week that were very skewed in your scarlet and gray viewpoint. So, and that happens. I mean, we all have our allegiances and we all have our viewpoints.
See, I think you missed my point on that, wholesome one.
I don't think we should revisit that.
Well, let me just state it this way.
Okay.
That other team that Miami played in the Fiesta Bowl could have been USC, could have been Oregon, could have been Alabama, and I would have been making the same comments. My comments had nothing to do with the other team. They had to do with Miami fans hating that other team when they had no control over the call. You should, if you want to hate somebody, hate the officials. I don't understand. The other team had nothing to do with the call. So that other team being Ohio State has absolutely nothing to do with my comments. It absolutely doesn't have anything to do. If, you know, we can take other points in college football history and I make those similar comments and where I have no rooting interest whatsoever.
No, I get where you're coming from.
Okay.